Well, he leads all Mets farmhands in batting average, on base percentage, and stolen bases. And now he's nice enough to give us a couple minutes of his time. It's Nick Morabito. Appreciate you coming on. How would you describe your Coney Island experience so far up until this point in the year?
It's been great. It's been a lot of fun being with these guys, being here on Coney Island. Brooklyn's a lot of fun. It's a great place to play.
You started the year at St. Lucie and tore the cover off the ball. How has that transition been, moving up from low A to high A?
Yeah, I just try to do the same thing, be the same person I can every single day, and no matter what level, just play my best baseball. And that starts with, when I get to the field, a stretching, activation routine, and they have our throwing routines out in the field for us. And then as far as in the cage, every player has their own specific routines, and I try to do the same thing every day as far as my hitting routines. And
you came up to Brooklyn here on May the 7th, and since that date, you're really kind of scattered all over the South Atlantic League leaderboards as far as various stats are concerned. You've been the leadoff hitter here really pretty much ever since joining this Brooklyn squad. So in your eyes, what kind of makes a good leadoff hitter, and how do you think you as a player really kind of embody that?
Yeah, I think a good leadoff hitter is someone who's going to set the tone at the start of the game. Get on base, maybe steal a few bases. That's what I try to do, and try to score runs as fast as possible, because you get on the board first. It definitely sets the tone for the rest of the game, and I try to embody that as much as I can. The coaches do a really good job of letting us know how quick the pitcher is to home plate, the catcher's pop times, and when I'm on the bases, my mentality is to steal. And steal second, steal third, and just score as quickly as possible, just to help out the Cyclones as any way I can.
Let's rewind to your high school days. Mets took you out of high school, second round, 2022. Where were you when you got the call, and what were those emotions? What were those feelings like?
I was just at home with my family, not like a big draft party or anything. And yeah, that was a crazy day. I remember getting the call pretty late at night. I think it was past midnight.
You were still up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When I found out it was the Mets, and in New York, I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. I'm going to be a Met. It was just a whirlwind of emotions, and I just remember giving my parents a big hug, and it was definitely a great experience.
This is kind of that first full year now that you've got really extended time under your belt. Physically and mentally, what kind of goes into that for you?
Yeah, there's definitely a big adjustment period, like you said, going from high school. I think I played maybe 35 games my senior year, and then being thrown into the professional world and playing every single day. It's tough. You got to make adjustments. I think physically and mentally, and as you play more games in professional baseball, you start to learn and you make those adjustments, and the experience that you get is second to none. And I think that's what's helped me along the way. Just being able to mature and see this type of pitching every single day. But yeah, there's definitely some big adjustments that you have to make. Being able to stay positive and go through the grind every single day of sticking to your routines, your habits, your good habits that you do, and really sticking with those and trusting in yourself and carrying that confidence onto the field every day.
When you're at your best, feel free to disagree, but at least from my vantage point, you're hitting the ball to all fields, right? Doesn't matter, pull side, going the other way. Has that always been something that you've really kind of prided yourself on, or is that more of a recent development to your game?
100%. I think it's always been something I've prided myself on, just being able to put the ball into all fields, and I think it's a huge tool to have as a player. Not one specific field that you hit it to, just being able to spray the ball is definitely a huge advantage as a hitter. I think the great part about the Mets is they haven't really tried to take me away from the person and the player that I am. They've really just encouraged me to be the player that I am. I'm not going to go out there and hit 40 home runs a year.
Right.
I'm going to steal the bases. I'm going to put good contact on the ball, and they're really encouraging me to stay the player I am and just push me in that direction. So
you played your high school ball in the DC area, so being in the big city is not necessarily something that is all too unfamiliar to you. But how has the transition to the New York City life been?
Well, there's no bigger city than New York, so DC is a little bit smaller, but I was a little bit used to it, going to school in the city for 4 years. But yeah, New York is huge. There's a lot of people. It's a little bit crazy, but I've enjoyed it. So
I always like to ask because I never know. Growing up in Virginia, when it comes to baseball for you, was it Orioles, Nats, Braves? What was the team for you growing up?
So I grew up going to Nats games.
Okay.
I went to a ton of games with my grandparents. And yeah, I grew up a Nats fan, so.
Oh, it's all right. We won't tell too many people that. We'll keep that under wraps. As far as your family is concerned, I know your dad played college ball at JMU, uncle in pro ball as well. What kind of influence, what kind of impact have they had on you up to this point?
Huge. Those two guys, they're my backbone. And my uncle's my hitting coach back home, and growing up in a baseball family, especially with those two guys, they've been the best for me, just leading me along the way. With everything that they've done, and they've been great for me, and they've been able to come here and see me. I had some family in Aberdeen, and they've been nothing but great.
What's on the goal board for you, so to speak, as far as the rest of the year goes?
Yeah, like you said, being healthy, and I'm gonna keep trying to be the player that I am, and that's steal bases, get on base, make good contact, hit the ball to all fields, and really dial in on just being a good defensive outfielder, center fielder, getting a little bit better at my first step and my reads, and most importantly, is trying to help the Cyclones win some ball games. So,
what are maybe some things that you've learned from those guys with different backgrounds that maybe you didn't have in the fold in your high school playing days?
Yeah, high school guys, college guys, international. It's cool how everybody has their own story, and we all kind of come here in the same spot, trying to accomplish the same goal. And it kind of makes you realize that, everybody coming from different backgrounds might not have had it as easy. And it's cool how everybody has their own story and how they got here and the journey that they took and the steps that they took to become a professional baseball player with the Mets. So
with your game, maybe just starting to get noticed as far as paying attention to prospects, whatever the reason might be, how would you sort of define your game to those who might just be learning about you for the first time?
Yeah, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to play hard. Like I said before, I'm going to try to get on base, steal bases, and make hard contact, put the ball in play, and I want to bring excitement to the games, to New York Mets fans, and most importantly, I want to cross home plate, score runs, and win some ball games.
Well, you've brought plenty of excitement in Brooklyn. Hopefully, not too long from now, it'll be Queens. That's Nick Morabito. Nick, thanks so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.